Adelaide tried to kick themselves out of the game in the first quarter, kicking 0 goals 6. Only for Brisbane to say, hold my beer, and kick 0 goals 8 in the last quarter to Adelaide's clean 5 goals, which was the main deciding factor, in my opinion. Just cleaner, better goal kicking in the last quarter, as Adelaide get over the line over Brisbane in a huge win, in a top 4 shaping win, in my opinion, because these are the types of games Adelaide, alongside many of the other chasing back, the Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn, those type of teams, really have to win these type of games and beat other teams around them in the top 8 if they're going to jump into the top 4 and hope for, not a miracle, but hope for a unlikely victory against one of these sides that are sort of premiership favorites, I would say. But anyway, let's jump into this, go through how it went and sort of the defining factors. So Jordan Dawson, he was mega in the last quarter. If it wasn't for this shocking disposal efficiency through the first 3 quarters, you'd be looking on a guy that scored 109 fantasy, but about 140 Supercoach. But he stuffed it with the ball, especially in that third quarter. I want to say in the third quarter, he had 5 or so disposals and maybe 1 effective disposal. Let me just double check that for you guys, but he was pathetic in the first 3 quarters. 2 touches in the third quarter for no effective disposals, and then in the second quarter, 5 touches at 40%. First quarter, 5 touches at 40%, but that last quarter he had 6 touches, 67% disposal efficiency, kicked a goal, had 3 marks. I want to say 2 of them might have been contested marks. 3 contested marks in the last quarter, I want to say. Yeah, it looks to me like there was 3 contested marks in the last quarter alone, and one of them being a contested mark inside 50. I want to say the other one was an intercept mark as well. He was absolutely mega, and that's one of the reasons why in the end they were able to get over the line, even in a relatively even game for the likes of Jordan Dawson, in that he had 18 touches but 11 tackles. He didn't wow it, but that last quarter he was just able to be that really key spark, and I think he ended up with, I want to say, somewhere around 50 points in the last quarter in Supercoach. Jake Saligo, 108, 124, he was magnificent as well. He's definitely a guy that you need to tag. Yes, you can let Dawson do all of it, but if Saligo's getting that outside ball, he is kind of amazing at just being able to punish you. And that's what he did. Ben Keys, absolutely outstanding. Showed, ran a tighter tag on, or run with roll with Zorko, and then just torched, and I mean torched, Jasper Fletcher, and really showed that you can't have too many just non-defending players almost in the back, in your back half. You really have to have those defender-first mentality players. Rory Laird had a really good game in what was probably a game suited to him, 95-111. And then Daniel Curtin's a guy that's definitely improving dramatically and quickly. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's ends up being an on-baller. He feels like a bigger Jordan Dawson just with the way he moves. And if he puts on some even more muscle, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a contested player. By the end of it, a contested midfielder that has an amazing leap and a really good intercept mark as well on him. Well, just a contested mark, I would say. And then, yeah, no one else really did too well. Isaac Rankin got stuffed out of that midfield role and was on, I think, 21 at halftime, or maybe 25 at halftime. Let me just double check that for you guys, because he was stuffed in the first quarter. He was on 21 at halftime, so for him to get 47 in the second half, including a 30-point third, I think the role was much better in the second half. It was 8 out of the last 12 CBAs, which shows he was playing more on ball in the second half. But that first half, that was a dirty role. That was 3 out of the first, I think, 10 or 11. It was 3 out of the first, or is it 8, 10, 30% CBAs in the first half. And yeah, that was just a disgusting role, and it showed in his scoring. Wayne Miller, Peatling is going to get suspended. Rochelle, he did all right, and then no one else really matters. Pedler, for those that grabbed him, including me, 37, disappointing display, but you take the 37, he's going to go up 41k, and if he can stay out of the sub for 2 more weeks, you basically got in a 220, 230k guy if he can just put together some 60 scores, because he's got a break even of 10 next week, I believe. Then we get to Brisbane, and they probably just had it in the wrong player's hands too much, I would say. Will Ashcroft is an amazing player, and they needed it in his hands, but they couldn't get it into his hands in the last quarter. I think he had 3 touches. Jared Berry, just probably too many touches for the player that he is, and they needed it more in other guys' hands. Hugh McCluggage, 27 touches. He was amazing as well. But again, look at that disposal efficiency. Was pretty poor, I think, in the first quarter, but his last 3 were pretty good. Jack Payne, 87. Doesn't really matter. Dane Zorko, 21 touches, 3 marks, 6 tackles. The 5 playing is probably let him down. If he does better than that, that's probably an 87-100. But you can see it's there. He just got tightly marked in the first quarter and a half. As well as being probably underscored in the first little bit, but that last sort of 5 minutes where he scored, I think he had an intercept as well as 2 kicks where he, I think, had 2 score involvements. I want to say he had a 35-point last quarter in Supercoach or something of that regard. Darcy Ford, Jasper Fletcher did all right, but was mugged off defensively, basically. Josh Dunkley in 81-120, an absolute monster Supercoach score. Lachie Neal did all right. Levi Ashcroft, 63-66. You don't mind it too much. Will drop a little bit of cash in fantasy, but we'll be able to go to a big player next week. So we'll see who we go to in that regard. Probably a Bontempelli or something of that. Bontempelli or Butters is definitely on the cards there. Ainsworth, Morris, Lohman, disappointing. He only got to 51, but you kind of have to take it because it was a tough matchup. And yeah, he could have easily gone, I think, a little bit more. Could have easily probably gotten towards that sort of 70 marker or so. But it is what it is. You take the 51, you take the cash generation from him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go up. Let's even just double check it with the DFS here to see how much he is going to go up. Fantasy price projector. Let's go over to Lohman to check how much he's going to go up. If I had to have a cheeky little guess, I'm going to guess it's probably 40k. Let's just check it here with a 51. He goes up approximately 34k. But then that means that if he was to average 51 over the next 3 weeks, if we just quickly input that there, he's going to go up another 29 and 20k. So pretty much with 50s, he's going to go up another, well, we grabbed him for 392 and he goes up to 475. But I suspect there's going to be a 75 in here and then a 60 or so in here. And with that, instead of what's that, about 80 odd K, he goes up a good 120k with just a 75 and a 60. And you could easily see him pull off like a 90 or something like that. If we just go here to Lohman here, he's got, who has he got next week? He's got Giants and then Geelong. I could easily see him pulling off something like that. And then suddenly he's at 530, 540k and you're making some big bunks. So you're basically just hoping that one of these couple weeks in the buys, he can go off and give you a 90 plus score, give you that really headline score, because that's what we need at the moment. I just want to check what is his actual career high. Has he ever turned up? He has never actually turned up. And what's his actual highest score for? Highest score is a 99. So hopefully he can give us some. Because that would be, I guess, preferable. 99, 98, 93. So he's gone 90s 3 times before, it looks like, which is all right, but not perfect. So yeah, I genuinely think he could be a guy that just and one of them was in the grand final. So great. Yeah, so 98, 99, 93, etc. there, as you can see, and I don't think any other scores there. But yeah, if he can just get back into goal scoring form and kick a bag in one of these next 2 weeks, that's when he's going to probably score all right, but hasn't actually scored pretty well against the likes of Geelong. But against GWS, he averages 59, so hopefully he can put together a decent display there. And yeah, we'll see how he goes there. But that pretty much is the video there. I'm just going to quickly check why the Geelong game is so low. Oh, he's had 2 vested games, but if you take out those 2, he's averaging about 60 against Geelong as well. So yeah, this is basically what we're hoping for. Something like this, a 73 or something next week. I think, because they have the round 16 bye. And then on round 16, you can potentially trade him because he'll be 500k plus a couple of the other rookies that are on round 16 or something like that. And you're getting a player, you're getting them into pretty much a premium. That is what I'm thinking there. But anyway, that is the video, I think. Because, yeah, Ty Gallup was subbed out of the game tactically. He passed his HIA, which was, or Scat 6 or whatever you want to call it, which is good. But, yeah, I'm glad that it didn't go there. Even though he scored only 13 less points than Kai Lohman. It's just the cash gen wouldn't have been as good. I could have obviously gone Madden, which probably could have been a play. But I was just like, I don't really want another ruckman, and I kind of needed that extra player, it felt like, just with how many outs I had. But anyway, it is what it is. I might be able to grab Madden next week for a little bit of quick cash generation. But that is the video there, going through all of the players that did well and not so well in the Brisbane versus Adelaide Crows game. And if you guys did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on, especially because we have some exciting content coming on to the channel soon, with only, I think, 70 odd days or maybe just slightly less before the AFLW season starts. And we know that the app will probably, or the it'll refresh about 30-35 days beforehand, I'd expect. So I want to be able to give you guys some content before that refresh happens, just so that you know roughly where some of the players that have the best value, etc., and all that, and then we can get a good head start into that season. But I'll see you guys for the next video, which will probably be tomorrow, and that'll just be the review of the 3 Saturday games that we've got coming up between Richmond, Sydney, Geelong, Geelong Gold Coast, and GWS Port Adelaide. So I'll see you guys in those videos. Bye guys.